Let's take a look at Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the bullish scenario for Bitcoin. This is going to be our take on Bitcoin. Okay. So 2024, we had this 8-month range of death where basically Bitcoin came up out of the bear market. We start pumping in 2023, and we pumped all the way straight up into March of 24. Okay. So from the beginning of, or the end of February, beginning of March, we created this massive 8-month range on Bitcoin. Okay. So this is important to draw some alpha from. So we've talked about this in the past. When you build short, it's typically to go long. Okay. So when you build structure short, meaning that effectively a sideways price action that inevitably just kind of curls down lower. So more of a downward channel. More times than not, when you create a structure like this, you build short, it's to do what? To go long. Okay. So hopeful, basically, not hopeful, excuse me, wrong word. The bullish scenario and what we're expecting to happen is we're doing something similar here on Bitcoin. Okay. Up in here though, in a larger range. So we get the sideways downward channel on Bitcoin for these 8 months. Then we finally break out, right? And this is a beautiful channel. You see how we break out, kind of retest, get this breakout. We retest the highs, okay, of this range, and then we're straight up to about 107,000. Okay. So now we take a look at this new range that we created up here on Bitcoin. So we had pumped all the way up into this 107,000, and then we had created basically before we broke down at the end of February, we had created this range up in here. So I'll even put it like this. So this was our range right here. Okay. And we can put it like this. So before it broke down, this was our range over here. Okay. So let's just pretend that that other price action hadn't happened yet. So we had made this range, and what happened was we were basically distributing, turns out, and then we broke down from this range. So when we broke down from this range, we created this larger channel. Okay. So I bring this down here. Okay. And it basically could be looked at like this. Is another downward channel that we're starting to try to build. Okay. Does that make sense? So the idea is that, yeah, we'll keep ranging here, but slowly but surely we'll kind of curl down as we had in this 8-month range before inevitably getting this breakout. Okay. So here's what's not going to be fun about this. This is going to take longer than what you would like it to. Okay. So since this is a larger range now, and this is going to be the top half of the range, not just the entire range itself. Now we've only just recently made the bottom of the range. Okay. Now, since this is going to be a macro channel, just like this 8-month range, it's going to be a couple months before Bitcoin and these altcoins start breaking out to new all-time highs again. It's going to be about, if I would have to guess, 2 months to about 3 months where we're looking back at all-time highs. And the reason being is, number one, this structure on Bitcoin has to have time to play out in this downward channel, but more so, equities are going to have the chance to play out that way. So I'll show you on the S&P, right? Because this is where the S&P is at right now. We actually came back down and retested our demand zone right after rejecting offer supply perfectly, and we had drawn this from before this move had played out, or before the breakdown, so it played out perfectly. Equities are going to take some time to come sideways and start to bottom out, so that's what's going to happen on Bitcoin. So this is going to take a bit, okay? Now here's the good news. Here's the great news for those of you who haven't been direct in building up your income and actually taking it seriously to make more and more money and get more and more powder to be able to put into the markets. You have an opportunity right now to put you in a situation where you can reaccumulate fiat to then go ahead and reaccumulate your altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever it is that you're looking to invest in. Okay. And for those of you inside of our Discord, you guys understand what we're playing. Okay. So my advice, what I would encourage you to do is not worry about the price of the assets right now, what's happening in the market. Understand that, okay, it looks like you're getting blessed with an opportunity at basically accumulating these altcoins, these major assets at the lows over a 2, maybe 3 month span, which is a long time for investors because that's going to give you the opportunity to accumulate a significant amount of that asset so that you can ride it back up to the highs. So if anything, I'd be looking at this like a blessing because I don't see a recession coming. I don't see a reason for us to enter a multi-year bear market. Your mindset should be, holy shit, I have a month, maybe 2 of premier entries. I better start clipping in now and consistently clip in over the next month or 2 while we're bottoming out here. Okay. So that would be the time frame before we start, pushing back up to highs. But the low is either already in. For example, on Bitcoin, it looks like the low's already in. If not, maybe we get a double bottom. We come back down in here and start pushing back up. Okay. But that's what I would be looking for on Bitcoin to start playing out, is this downward channel again, just on a higher time, or not higher time frame, just on a larger scale at higher prices. Okay.